This video is intended to demonstrate some of the product offerings of Magnet Office and show a basic workflow geared towards pipeline layout. The process that we're going to look at is going to include three main components of Magnet Office. The first being Magnet Enterprise. This will be our repository of information, our communication link between the office and the field, as well as ourself and other people involved in the project. We'll take a look at Magnet Project and show some of the capability of Magnet Project geared towards the workflow for pipeline layout. Once everything's complete in project, we'll transfer the data to Magnet Field. Starting with Magnet Enterprise, we're going to look at the capabilities of Enterprise, which include not only the repository of information, a storage place that can be accessed by all the members of our team. It also acts as GIS software in a sense that any of my collected georeference data can be displayed on a map. Enterprise also gives us the ability to do basic functions within the data, such as query distances and areas, without having to know how to use CAD. We can do file conversions without having to have some of these programs, and we have a link to programs such as TopCon SiteLink 3D, Bentley ProjectWise, and Autodesk BIM 360. Starting with Magnet Enterprise, we'll log into the system and start a project. In the Data Manager section of Magnet Enterprise, we'll create a new project. Here I could give it the exact name, if I had project number, specific client information, any additional information for the project. I even have the ability here to specify who has access to the information contained within this project. I'll assign myself as the project manager, and we will save this project. With the project added to our list, we can begin uploading files. This can occur on my client side or on my side. I'm going to upload two files that were sent to me from the surveyor, a PDF file and an AutoCAD DWG file. Once the files have been transferred to Magnet Enterprise, they show up in our project list under Pipeline Survey. I have two files here, a DWG from AutoCAD and a PDF. By right-clicking, I can preview the PDF file to get a feel for what's here. And we can see, for example, this PDF contains the plan and profile view of the job. The drawing file, by right-clicking, can be downloaded or converted at this point to other data formats. So if I wanted to convert this directly to Magnet Office, I could do so. If I were using TopCon in the field, I could convert this to a TP3 file. Without owning AutoCAD, I can do this type of conversion here through Magnet Enterprise. We'll come back and look at some of the other features within Magnet Enterprise once we've started working with the data in Magnet Project. Magnet Project. Magnet Project is going to be the bulk of our capability on the Office side. We're going to have features like PDF to CAD conversion, clean up existing CAD files, 2D to 3D conversions of data. A lot of times we're going to do volume calculations, for example, and the information that comes in is all two-dimensional. We need to have three-dimensional data in order to do the volumes. The same is true for machine control and grading files. Magnet Project has those tools. We also have the ability to do pipes and trenches, 3D roads, work with surface models including subsurface, create cut and fill maps, do 3D drive-throughs, material quantities, balancing, and takeoff. That just scratches the surface on the capability of Project. Project also gives us the ability to create deliverables, including construction staking files, machine control files, material library, do 3D visualization and simulations, and do clash detections on the 3D data. Inside Magnet Project, under the cloud connections, I can connect to my project in Magnet Enterprise. So there's my pipeline survey. I can connect. Once connected, I can upload and download the data from Magnet Enterprise without really having to know how Enterprise works. In this example, I've downloaded the files from Magnet Enterprise, and we'll start by working with the PDFs. So what we can do is insert the PDF image. I've downloaded it here. So this PDF contains 4 files. I'm interested in page 3. What I'm not interested in is the background image or the legend information included in the drawing. So I'm going to turn those off so they're not imported. I'll give the background image a name and specify the transparency. I'm going to tell it to use the vector information, which will allow me to do my tracing of the vector information. To position the drawing, I can enter the plotting scale and north orientation. I can match points, or I can scale by picking a reference distance off of the PDF file and telling it what that distance should be. In this case, we have coordinate data listed on the PDF sheets, so we're going to use that to orient, rotate, and scale the drawing. Once the raster image has been processed, Magnet Office is going to ask for the starting location. So here you see we have coordinate values for this point. Magnet Office snaps to the pixel and then allows me to key in that coordinate value. 105.09.758.40 for the northing, and the easting is 1285.630.41. I'll hit enter and it'll align that point. I'll repeat that for any additional points I have until all of the points have been entered and the image is properly rotated and scaled. That process will be repeated for additional images or additional sheets within that PDF. Once all have been inserted, the PDF appears in my drawing as shown here. Now in this example, what we're interested in is the centerline location of the pipe. So what we're going to do is we're going to trace this. If we wanted to pull everything out of this file, we could come in and say extract vectors using this page, and I'm going to do a window selection and assign the layers by color. I pick 2 points and hit enter. And everything that I selected is now part of my drawing. In this case, we created 520 polylines. So I can see by selecting the data that this is all now part of my drawing. This is one way to get the data from the raster to the vector. That's not the way I'm going to focus on. What I want to do is trace the pipeline data. So what we're going to do under model is we're going to trace from the vectors the information. So I'm going to give us our starting point. And then tell it where to go from there. It follows that line based on my pick locations. If something was picked up that was unintentional, I can simply hit the backspace and remove it, and redraw that section. So we would continue that process until all of the information that we were interested in has been created inside of Magnet Office. Now here we can see that I have gone ahead and created that entire center line. Since that's the only information that I need, I can come in and turn the images off so that now I'm just looking at my line. While there are many ways to approach this process, I'm looking at one, which is to stake this out as an alignment as opposed to staking points. So what we would do is we would come into design and tell it to create an alignment from the line work. So I pick the starting point, secondary point, and then I would continue on picking each individual or simply clicking on the line and letting Magnet interpolate the rest of. Once the line has been converted, I can get reports, for example, proposed center line, my starting and ending station. And here's all of the information for that alignment. The start station, the coordinates, the northing, easting, and then the bearing from that position. That can be saved to a text file or simply closed as I don't need it. If I wanted to annotate my alignment, I can right click on the alignment and tell it to create alignment text. Now my alignment is annotated. We can take the data now and export this to a magnet field project and give it a name. I'm interested in any points, line work, and alignments. The alignment shown is my proposed. Since we're still connected to Magnet Enterprise, I can now upload these files to my project. Sending it to the pipeline survey project and tell it to upload. We received the notification that the upload is complete to Magnet Enterprise. Now we can go back into Magnet Enterprise and see that the file we sent is in the list. If we notice, there is a little pin drop next to proposed center line. This means I can right click and view it on the map. The map screen comes up and I can see the location of this project. Now while we're looking at the map, I'm going to turn on a few other projects and show the GIS type capability of Enterprise. Here I see all of the projects that I have active and that I have turned on, any of which I can click on. So this is Keller Park. So in Keller Park, for example, I can tell it to turn on the data and I can see the information that's been created in this project. Back to our pipeline survey. Here's the center line that's been created for our project. Let's take a different approach. We did PDF into CAD. Let's open the actual CAD file that we have, since that was given to us as well. So now we have all of the data inside of Magnet project that was created in the CAD file. Just to keep things simple with this, all I'm going to do is export the point data to a magnet field project. So just like I did before, I'm going to export magnet Field version 5, and then I'm going to give it the name Survey Data and save. Once the file has been created, just like we did before, Cloud Connection, we can upload that survey file to the Pipeline Survey project in Magnet Enterprise. Once everything has been uploaded to Enterprise, it should show up in the list. I went ahead and uploaded a couple of additional files, including the Magnet Office file, the proposed center line, and then the survey points that we just created. Again, any of these with the pin drop can be viewed on the map. So if we go back to the map view, there was the proposed center line. Here's the survey data. We took the Magnet Office project over, so we can turn that on and see all of the line work. Again, this is that GIS type interface that Magnet Enterprise is giving us without being a GIS export and without having to go through the whole hoopla of creating KLM files to take over to Google Earth and to get the data. Now that we have the basic data here, we can take a look at Magnet Field. Magnet Field is going to be our TopCon's field solution connecting to all of our equipment, total stations, robotics, and GPS. Magnet Field has a pretty intuitive user interface. We have the ability for advanced road layout. Even basic road layout capabilities. Not everybody is doing highway layout with Magnet Field, but in a case like this, a pipeline, we can treat that like a roadway instead of staking to individual points. There are tons of import-export file formats, so if we're dealing with data from other sources, we can import those. We have the ability to do calculations in the field, do contouring from the survey data as we're collecting it, and do surface comparisons to get basic volumetrics in the field. We have the ability to do surface staking, colorized cut and fill indicators. The big one here is the connectivity to Magnet Enterprise for the data exchange between the office and the field. This Enterprise becomes a huge communication component, allowing the field and the office crews to be in sync with each other and to be able to share information real time without having the delays of, let me get into the office and get this downloaded and see what we have. Magnet Enterprise even gives us the ability to see this collected data as it's happening. Magnet Field has that same connectivity to Enterprise where we can connect to Enterprise and exchange data to and from. So I can connect to Magnet Enterprise, go to my project, which was the pipeline survey, and then download those files from Enterprise directly to my data controller to begin working. What I want to do is begin staking. And again, because we did this as an alignment, we can do road staking. So we would pick the proposed horizontal and vertical alignments. If we had the vertical data included, I happen to enter a few pieces of the vertical from the plan and profile sheets, so we have that information for staking. So where do I want to begin? Do I want offsets on this? Maybe I don't want to stake at dead center. I want to be 10 feet left or 5 feet right. A lot of times we'll place a stake outside of the alignment to keep them from being run over by heavy equipment. But I have the ability to do those left and right and horizontal and vertical offsets. I'm going to station right where it is, and I'm going to start at station 0. I'm going to go every 50 feet instead of every 25 feet. Along the center line, again, any offsets, I don't have any, so I'm going to tell it to start staking these. So with our GPS position showing, I can see for station 0, I'm almost right on that point, up and down as well as in and out of the alignment. I can store this. What do I want to store? Here's the information that's given, current position, how far in, out, left, and right. So we know when we put that stake, we can go back and see, did we put it close to where we said we were? If I wanted, I could even take a photograph with the data collector. If it has camera capabilities, I can take a photograph and store that with the point as well. Information is there and stored. Now we've moved ahead automatically to station 0 plus 25. Now that's doing alignment staking. If I wanted to load in the survey data for this and do actual point staking instead, the process would be fairly similar. We would go to the design point we wanted to stake and tell it to stake. So we would see the GPS position in relation to the stake or the point we wish to stake. As we walk, we would see not only the position on the screen change, but we would see our distance to and from the point change. Walk. So now we've walked to our point. It's showing me I'm about a 1/10 out, maybe 100th out left and right. That could be the wobble in my pole there, but we would find we got a number closer to our tolerances. My cut and fill, I have about 1/2 foot of fill. Once I'm satisfied with this, I would store that position. I'm set up to take 2 readings before I store. And now that position is stored. Now some of the things we can do in Field, for example, is we can load the background map if we have it. And in this case, I've loaded just the basic Bing map so that as we're walking along and moving, not only are we seeing the points, we're seeing the data or an aerial image of the area that we're in without having to be a GIS expert knowing how to extract georeferenced TIFF file or georeferenced image file to put in here. We can do some pretty advanced functions inside of Field very simply. Now, as we had talked about earlier, that communication between the office and Field, because I'm connected to Magnet Enterprise, I can actually upload from the Field all of the data that I've collected back to Magnet Enterprise. So any of the points that I collected, let's say I had surveyed some additional data, I could upload that. My stake reports, everything could be uploaded from the Field back to Enterprise so that in the office, all I have to do is download those files and I can see this relatively instantly between Field and Office.